Hello everybody and welcome to the last broadcast for the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge in Season 14. It's time for the All-Star Race, something a little bit different. 3 races of 15 minutes for a few of our Autobahn drivers here this season at Fuji in GT4 cars. Cars they've not been racing all season long. They're going to be racing for the first time here tonight. The first race about to get underway. The lights are on and 7 of our drivers from the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge this season are ready to get underway. The lights are on and almost as quickly they're out. Nathan Dowd, as he has been throughout a lot of this season, hits the front in the GT4s. To being a GTP driver, challenging for race wins over the course of Season 14. Down in towards Turn 1 they go. Nicholas Davis weaving around all over the place, trying to get past Carter Cunningham in towards Turn number 1. Nathan Dowd looks like he's got off to a good start, 3/4 of a second ahead of Zioli and Cunningham. Composite drivers side by side in towards Turn 2, and they'll be sensible. They'll get tucked into line and they'll settle into this race. It's myself, Ewan, and Judge Parfitt with me for this final broadcast of the season, the last broadcast of Season 14, unfortunately. It's good to, oh dear, Ed Eisenring goes very wide in the background. Good to be here for this one. James, something a little bit different here tonight. 3 races of 15 minutes, very different to what we've seen throughout this season.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, we've got the normal, we're normally used to and accustomed to the 60 minutes. So to have 3 races spread across the 45, this is going to be an interesting one. I'm a little bit worried about that little chicane at the end between 10 and 11. It's not well used in certain series. Some people don't like it. Some people do love it. I'll be interested to see how these guys get on as well, and whether or not they're going to make it through as they're on their way around turn 14 and 15, coming into 16 for the first time.
They are coming towards the end of the first lap of the day. Looks like Ed Eisenring's jumped back to pit lane, unfortunately. Just see somebody lagging about. I hope it wasn't down to that. He did lose a place just prior to that as well. Let's have a look what happened here on replay. A little bit wide up on the curbs. Although, oh, ow, that's quite a big hit on the wall. And that might be the end of race 1 for him. Ed Eisenring, unfortunately, he is down on pit lane getting that repaired for the moment, but he is not going to be challenging for this race, that's for sure. The long run down towards Turn 1 is a lot, it's a lot of slipstream, and Nicholas Davis didn't really know what to do with all the slipstream there. Dive down the inside of Carter Cunningham, that's way too wide. Cunningham will get that position back straight away. Yeah,
a bit too hot there, a little bit excited from Nick Davis. He unfortunately just went in way too hot, missed braking points by an absolute mile, and I have to try and go again over Carter Cunningham, who's in front. Of course, used to him in an LMP2, sitting here in a Mercedes. Good mix of Mercedes, Aston Martins. The thing for me is Kudrowski at the back, all the Porsches are at the back end.
Yeah, it looks like Jason DeRoos and Liv Peterson, well, they did do a bit of practice. Looks like they've not taken part in the race, and Ed Eisenring's already off the circuit in his Porsche as well, so they are stacked up at the back. Maybe it's not the best car for this circuit, but I don't really know. I feel like these drivers who are not used to driving GT4s week in, week out, it's going to be far more about the driver, really, than the manufacturer, and that's a good thing for us, because it means we get a nice spread of them up towards the front of the field. I don't know if it's just me, by the way. Has the BMW had an update recently? Because it looks very different to me. Not sure if it's the livery that Nicholas Davis has got on, but the front splitter, anyway, looks very low. And the whole car just looks a bit different. Maybe it hasn't had an update, and I just don't know what that car looks like. But it looks different to me. There it is. Yeah, I don't know what's happened to it.
No, I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Oh.
I thought it... There we go. Maybe they can tell us at the end what...
There hasn't been an Evo version of it come out, I'm pretty sure.
Maybe. Yeah, well, it just looks a little... To what I've seen normally. So Nathan Dowd and Dominic Zioli are out front 1 and 2 after a couple of laps. Carter Cunningham and Nicholas Davis are then 3rd and 4th. Davis not that close behind. It's really about the battle between these two. Nathan Dowd set off pretty quickly in this race, got off to a pretty quick start, but Dominic Zioli is caught right up to him here, and because there's no points on the line, because there's nothing really on the line at all here, it's just a bit of a fun race, expecting, while in a normal race you see Zioli hanging out behind him, saving fuel and whatever. I don't imagine we're going to see very much of that here today. We're just going to see him firing down the inside, probably.
Yeah, we are. I don't think it's going to be too much messing around, is there? Let's be real. It's only a bit of fun. And we're 10 minutes into race number 1. Or 10 minutes remaining, sorry, of race number 1. I think it's going to be get to the front as quickly as possible. And let's see what goes on. There we go. That is the new GT4.
Oh, it is? Yeah, okay. It looked weird. So there you go.
That's a 682 GT4. Basically was...
Okay.
Yeah, well, correct.
I'm thinking of the M4, was it, that was before? I think so. That looks very different to that one, I've got to say. Out of the final corner, and will Zioli have a chance in towards turn 1? The best overtaking chance on this lap as he gets into the slipstream for the moment. Nathan Dowd is not going to go defensive on this occasion. He doesn't need to. Zioli might well just fire down the inside. It takes a very long time for them to get down this straight. I know it's a long straight, but goodness me. In towards turn 1, and Zioli is not close enough just for the moment. He's applying the pressure, though, to Nathan Dowd. He's got a decent run out of the corner as well. Go on board here and see where the best overtaking chances are, really. I think turn 1 is going to be the best chance, but so far Zioli's not been close enough. Through the twistier sections where he's been able to get close. He gained a bit through turn 2 there, and getting around the Coca-Cola curve as well. This very, very long right-hander through here, and has a look. Nope, no chance down the inside there either, but he has forced Dowd wide, and now we'll get alongside.
Yeah, he should be able to get it done now if he can stay there. They're going to be side by side down through 300R coming into Dunlop. Dowd's going to have that inside line. That will be the only problem for Zioli. He hasn't got the line going into the chicane at turn number 10. Is he going to be able to make it through? No. Dowd should be able to. Nope. Yes, there you go. Job done. Nathan Dowd did get it done over Dominic. Nathan Dowd did manage to hold on, I should say.
Yeah, he just about manages it. This will only allow Koch Cunningham to get into the fight, and that will possibly motivate Zioli a little bit here as well. Obviously, he'll want that position for himself, but to allow his teammate into the battle would be good for the both of them. He can sort of gang up on the Aston Martin if they can manage that, but we're a long way away from that just yet as they make their way out of the final corner. He's about 10.5 closer than what he was last lap to Nathan Dowd, so he should be having a better chance this time around in towards turn number 1. Here he is right in the slipstream. I'm going to gain half a tenth towards the line, but slipstream not seeming that effective here. Maybe the Aston Martin's got enough in the straight. Now Zioli's going to chase him across the road. Dowd recognises that this is more of a problem this time round. Has he spotted his braking point? He just about has. Zioli will go for the over and under, and he'll get a much better run through here. And don't forget how good he's been so far through turn 2 as well. They get pretty close, and he'll chase him across the road as well. He'll try and just narrow his line up here. Dowd is going to try and make sure that doesn't happen. He brakes late, but not quite late enough. Zioli will go around the outside for the first part. You'd imagine he'll have the place through the second part.
Yeah, I think it's going to get it all the way down here through the long sweeping right-hander. He's just got to cover his nose off a little bit going into the hairpin. That will allow Dowd to come back up the inside, which is what he has done as they're now running off through turn 7, 8 and 9. It's going to be Zioli this time will be on the inside line going into that chicane at 10.
And he's got his whole car in front here. Oh, Dowd tried to chase him back across the other side of the road, tried to almost fool him into which side he was going for, and he manages to hold on, Dominic Zioli. So Nathan Dowd can't find his way through on this occasion. Into the final sector they now go, and Zioli will be able to hold on to that position. What hasn't happened though in that battle, surprisingly to me, it hasn't seemed to got any closer at all there. He's still 2.5 seconds behind.
Yeah, even though they've been scrapping it out, he's still not really gained anything, to be blatantly honest. Dale Green has gained on Nick Davis. Mark Kudrowski's there, and just further, a little bit further back, just coming into your picture now. But Carter, nothing. Nothing at all. He's been 2.5 seconds back all the while that these guys have been fighting over the last 2 laps.
Yeah, it's rather bizarre. Here they go into... Oh, no chance that time from Dowd. He just had a peek, but not this time. You'd think that, given he's been caught and passed by Zioli, you'd think he'd be a little bit concerned that he'd just run away with that position, but not this time around. And Zioli is going to be allowed to keep that lead in that case pretty comfortably as well through the right-hander. And now he starts to just extend a bit of a margin as well here. So is this going to be Zioli with the race here, or is Dowd going to be able to respond? Right now, he doesn't look like he's got the speed to respond.
No, he doesn't, to be blatantly honest with you. And I think Dowd is going to basically be struggling to try and keep up with him. Anybody that catches up with you and overtakes you, you generally will see run away the other side, right? You know, you're not going to be able to stay with them consistently, but Dowd's going to give it a go. I don't think, you know, he's not used to be giving up here. I don't think he's been trying to chase Pat Pelchat all season, and unfortunately he didn't manage that, so he doesn't really want to not be able to get hold of Zioli, which is, he's staying with him a little bit here, which is always good. He's coming through the left-hander of turn 14 and 15. Oh, there we go. Fortunately not now.
He just had a slide there, Dowd. Might have even hit the back of Zioli, but that might well be that now. He'll have to do very well to catch up from that distance to get on terms with the leader now. And so, well, we'll keep following them as the closest battle out there on the circuit. But at the moment, it doesn't look like Dowd is going to be able to get back in front again. These GT4 cars obviously quite slow for this circuit, quite small for this circuit. Fuji's very, very wide. But I wonder what we're going to see in the next races, whether there's going to be a bit more aggression, because it's clear that when they all get single file and they all get to properly racing, there's quite a big difference between the top and the bottom of the field.
Yeah, definitely. And you kind of always want to try and find somebody to race around if you've got somebody in there. You know, I'd be interested to see what the likes of Ed Iserring can do. Can he keep up with Kudrowski? Can Green stay with Davis? Can he keep up with the guys in front? It doesn't look like he's quite got the pace of Nathan Dowd and Dominic Zioli. You know, the GT4s, they're not the most easiest cars to drive, but they're not overly hard where you can't make speed with them once you get used to them. But Carter Cunningham at the moment, he's just staring at the back, or trying to stare at the back of an Aston Martin. And Dominic Zioli is just, well, he's on his bike in the Mercedes. So I'll be interested to see what goes on in race number 2, but whether or not they're going to be able to stay with each other.
I would say these cars, very easy to drive just as a one-off, but not easy to go quick in them, really. Got to be well practiced for that. So it is a big gap that you can see from first to last. Having said that, obviously Ed Iserring's a lot further behind because he's had that crash earlier on, and he's continuing to get faster. Actually, he set the 4th quickest lap time last time round, and so there'll be hope for him in race number 2, that's for sure. Dowd has also been able to get back on terms with Zioli. Maybe these two are evenly matched, and whoever's in behind will always be quicker because of the slipstream effect. But for the moment, I thought, well, a few moments ago rather, I thought Zioli would be away with the lead pretty comfortably. It turns out that might not be the case. Dowd just getting back on terms. This will be the penultimate run in towards turn 1. He'll be hoping that next lap around he's close enough for a move on the final lap down in towards turn 1, which will be the best chance for him to go through.
Yeah, it will be. If you can stay with him coming down there for the final time, of course, it will be the white flag after this one. We'll see how they get on. It's going to be almost a full reverse for race number 2. To be honest, Iserring probably find himself on pole position. But Dowd has got to try and stick with him through turns sort of 6 and 7 now on this run down for that long looping right-hander. If he can hold on to him and try and get a move into 10, other than that, it's going to be the run out of 16 down into 1.
Have a look as they run down in towards turn 10. Is it going to be a side-by-side battle on the last lap through this section of corners? It would be very entertaining if that indeed is the case, but we might be dreaming a little bit too much for that. Let's see as they come through the final sector now. Ed Iserring's in the pit lane, by the way. Looks like he may well retire from this first race and get ready to come back out for the second one in a few moments' time. It should be back-to-back races here tonight, by the way, in the 3 15-minute affairs in the GT4 cars for the final race of season 14. Out of the final corner, they both come, Zioli and Dowd, and they will cross the line for one final time. Can Dowd get anywhere close? Well, that final sector from Zioli has just put him far enough ahead here that he is going to have no problems in towards turn number 1. The white flag's going to wave, and Zioli is going to have a rather big lead. Half a second is the gap to Nathan Dowd in towards turn 1. Dowd can't get anywhere near him.
No. And I don't think he's going to be able to for the rest of the lap, to be blatantly honest with him. I think coming through from 1 down to 3, I don't think he's really in a position to make the move going into the left-hand or Coca-Cola before they go around turns number 4 and 5. There's not many opportunities on this lap. It's really difficult, in fact, try and get an overtake done throughout this lap. You're kind of relying on Dominic Zioli making a problem or an issue for himself.
Is there going to be one last chance here as the time finally ticks away? You can see that they're both pushing hard. Dowd right and getting it off track there, right up towards the edge of the road. Although we're no worried about no, they won't be worried rather about the off-track limit, that's for sure. As they come into the final sector now, Zioli ahead of Dowd, then Cunningham. You can't really stay with them. Even when they were fighting, he couldn't get near. Is there going to be a late lunge here from Dowd? There's some very late apexes that you've got to take through this final sector, and it does mean you can fire down the inside as well. He's just... Oh, and he has a look! Oh, hits him as well. Now, is he going to wait in line there? Zioli goes off the road. He's got to have to, because he would have been unsettled by that. Now, the final corner. Dowd has actually got a better line here and a better run as well. Are we going to have a photo finish here, maybe? Oh, my goodness, there might be controversy here as Nathan Dowd is going to pull alongside him. There was contact at the penultimate corner, and suddenly he might well take a race win as a result of it. In towards the final stretches. They're going to get up towards the line. And in a photo finish, Nathan Dowd's going to win race 1 by 29 thousandths of a second. Zioli won't be happy about that because the contact certainly did influence the result there, but Nathan Dowd gets it done in race 1.
Well, can't really say a lot because he wasn't really in a position to make that move, but that little almost bump and run, but this is the run down to the line here. And you can see just how close they were. Oh, okay. No, we can't because we swapped over to race number 2.
We have swapped over to race 2. It does like to do that. So it's a reverse grid for race number 2. It's going to be, if Philippe Pitson and Jason De Vries decide to race, they will be at the front. I don't think they will, though. Ed Eisenring should be on the pole then ahead of Dominic Zioli, who's saying maybe it isn't a full reverse grid. Maybe Zioli got a penalty.
Philippe and De Vries registered for the race, but they didn't take part in the race.
I know, but why is Zioli in 4th? He surely should be second last.
Yeah. Don't know.
Anyway, we'll get to it. We'll get to the race because and leave that on the screen because, as I say, I don't think they are going to race those two who are at the front. But I think what happened with that contact is that maybe put Zioli over the incident limit. He obviously couldn't take his drive through because it was the last lap, but it's given him a penalty after the race, and the penalty was big enough to send him effectively to the back behind everybody, apart from Ed Eisenring, obviously, who was retired from the race. So I think that's what's happened there. He must have had a penalty.
Well, to be fair, it's worked out better for him. He's on the front row.
Yep, it's true. Well, no, he's overtaken the pace car. He'll get another penalty for doing that if he's not careful. Yeah, I suppose it is positive for him. It just depends. The problem is he's on the outside for turn 1, and if they all pile on the inside, he could be in a bit of trouble from second place.
Yeah, but if I was watching an official on a Friday night, I might tell you that happened. So.
It's true. These drivers are better than the regular official.
Yeah, let's be real about it.
That is true. But you never know. You never know. Let's see, though, as the second of our 15-minute races gets set to begin. Ed Eisenring will start from the pole. He'll have the chance to get us underway, and Zioli is very aggressive. You can tell that there's no points on the line here or anything. Everyone's just having a bit of fun, and why not? Zioli getting it. Someone's going to spin round Ed Eisenring if he's not careful before the actual start here. If he turns a bit too far right, straight into him there could be a pile-up here. Anyway, he's going to go, Eisenring, and Kudrowski can't quite stay alongside to keep Zioli out of the slipstream, so he's going to tuck straight in, and Dale Green does as well in the McLaren. That will be pretty quick in a straight line on the way towards turn 1 here. He's got a chance of piling down the inside, and they've all got a chance here. Kudrowski immediately posts on the inside, but he doesn't brake late enough. Zioli does, And Ed Eisenring's going to try and fend him off. He's going to go for it. Oh, so nearly a spin there, Zioli. He will be in the lead. It was a big slide, though. And so Ed Eisenring's going to have the momentum here. Kudrowski on the other side is going to try and come through as well, but he's not going to be able to. Side by side into turn 2. He'll have a chance again here because Zioli's very wide and he's could be shuffled back here. Although he is on the inside for this next corner, he will at least keep second place.
Yeah, he will. Now we've got a composite first, second, third. As well, we're kind of tucked in there. Whoa! Nathan Dowd and Davis going banging and door banging on the run down into turn 10 for the first time. But can anybody break up this free?
Yeah, well, I think that they've got more chance of breaking each other apart, to be honest. Zioli on the outside line might well have a chance here. That's a good run round from him. And he's got past Ed Eisenring as well. That was good driving from Dominic Zioli. And surely now he's going to go off with the race win. It's 3 wide for second in the meantime. On the inside, Nicholas Davis being aggressive. And that's put Carter Cunningham very wide. He can't go anywhere. There's slight contact with Dowd. Then they go side by side into the final sector. This is where the first race was decided. And Eisenring and Cunningham take each other off.
Oh, dearie me. How did that start? Where was...
Cunningham hits Ed Eisenring. Oh, no, Eisenring hits him, spins himself.
Yeah, he was already braking and then Carter just had nowhere to go. If you watch the lights of the Porsche in front, they're on, then all of a sudden they're on. And literally Carter's just got nowhere to go. And Correa's up to the back. I think Ed was already losing it there.
He was already going around, unfortunately. And that was the end of that. Meanwhile, Davis goes wide. Oh, my word. And that is somebody off in the background. We'll check on that later. Kudrowski's gone sailing off, but Nicholas Davis misses the apex. Nathan Dowd already back to second place, but can he catch Dominic Zioli from there? It's going to be quite difficult.
Yeah. Has Dowd got the pace in that Aston Martin? That's going to be the thing. To be able to move himself forward. He's got 1.6 seconds though. That's the problem. So I don't know. That's going to be a tough gap for them to try and catch up here. We've got Dale Green in the McLaren. He's putting Nick Davis under all sorts of pressure. Robert Tinsley's in YouTube chat. I thought this was next week. Lol. Oops. So he clearly missed it as well for Robert Tinsley.
You've still got time. There's another race. Get yourself in there.
Yeah, there's one more race to go, mate, after this.
Does RSC work like that? Can you just join in the middle of the second race and be there for the third? Maybe it's not possible.
No, I think maybe...
I never tried.
No, I've never seen... People disconnect and reconnect.
I've never done a broadcast with 3 races, by the way, like this, so I don't know.
Have you not?
No, I don't think so, no. But, well, other than Rallycross, but there's about 10 races per broadcast. That doesn't really count. Yeah,
You did the Clios. When we did
no, I
free
didn't actually.
Oh, all right.
I know that was no, that wasn't me. But I know you did those, but no, I wasn't there for those. Yeah, if you've got chance to join for race 3, then get yourself down there. You can. There's still time, and it might put you on pole.
It may do. Depends if you can get in. I don't know if you can get in the session, Robert.
No.
Don't get excited and think Ewan O'Leary said I could get in the session, but now actually I can't because we're not 100% sure if you'll be allowed in, to be honest.
No. Yeah, and also it's worth saying that Carter Cunningham did tag everybody about half an hour before practice ended, saying that it was today, but never mind. Carter Cunningham's into the pit lane. Speaking of, he clearly had some damage after hitting his teammate there, who was spinning around a few moments ago, and so unfortunately he's going to start or finish down in 7th by the looks of things, or certainly finish down towards the back. So he'll be hoping for one last race in the season. He can hold on to the race lead, and he might have a decent chance if he starts from the front. He might have a decent chance of winning the second race.
Yeah, he'll be on pole.
Third one, rather.
He'll be on pole, wouldn't he? That'll be all right for him. He'll be able to try and stay in front. I think, though, to be honest, Dominic Zioli and Nathan Dowd, that's closing in, which is fair play to him. It was 1.6, it's come down to 1.2. So he is having a go, but they are looking the faster, shall we say, of the group.
They are, yep. I think, though, Cunningham was third fastest and pretty clearly in that first race. And if he starts in front of them, maybe even gets an advantage before these two actually work their way through the traffic, then maybe he's got a chance of holding on, but there isn't much traffic to keep them back, I suppose. Dowd is doing a good job of catching here. Is he going to win the second race in a row? Maybe he is or maybe the second driver of whoever is, out of these two is the fastest, because right now, Dowd is catching very quickly. He's certainly going to catch quickly if Zerli weaves around on the straight like that again. That was probably overly aggressive, and they've both got it wrong into turn one. Oh, Zerli comes to a dead stop, and Nathan Dowd goes through.
What did Zerli do to literally have to physically stop? Oh, he goes in well hot. He had a little bit more runoff to the left-hand side there, Zerli. He could have kind of arced the car back onto the racetrack rather than sudden stopping it, almost like he did do.
I wonder if he just wanted to go behind some people to overtake them, to be honest with you. I think he's fed up of leading and wants to try and race some people further down in the pack, and he's going to do that with Dale Green. Could be quite a difficult customer to overtake because the McLaren is very quick in a straight line. It's sort of got that DNA from the 12C, if you remember that GT3 car that's very recently retired, and it seems to have some McLaren DNA. It's good shape, I suppose, as well, to cut through the air. So it could be a bit of a difficult overtake to make, but there's no doubt that Zerli is quicker.
Yeah, he is. And he'll have some fun with Dale Green. Depends on what sort of fight can Green put up for him. You know, Green's in a very bright livery. Not quite sure
what. Green.
It's not green. That would have been quite amusing. Green and a green, yeah. Right, you are right. But not SpongeBob-esque, is it? It's more sort of African tribal livery. As Dominic Zerli goes in pit lane at a very fast rate indeed.
Whoa! Wow. Oh, has he crashed? No, he's just come to a dead stop. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, it's Zerli.
No idea, but Ed Isering has crashed.
I think he's been slowing down for his teammate. I don't think he... Oh, maybe he has crashed. Oh, yes. Oh, no. He has crashed. Oh, my word. He's having some big crashes today. Oh, ouch.
Very spectacular.
That is a pretty battered Cayman.
Yeah, they're very spectacular crashes, aren't they, really?
Yeah. Well, he'll be glad we don't race GT4s every week, because that he looks like he's struggling with that car, to be honest. In quite a big way. So that's the second time he's hit the wall, and the third time he's spun. And we've only done, what, less than 25 minutes of racing now.
Yeah, he's probably spun less in this fun event than he did pretty much the whole season of the other one.
Yeah, it's true. Although, having said that, the penultimate round he did spin a lot, if you remember, at Mosport. That was the point of the season where we thought, well, there's no way he's going to win this championship from now because he's had a disaster tonight. And then, lo and behold, last week, in case you weren't with us, it was a great race. He went and won the championship.
Yeah. While we were sitting here playing with spreadsheets, trying to get it working properly, and figuring out who was going to be where and who's going to be when. It was a great race. To be fair, this season has been awesome. I thoroughly loved this season.
Yeah, it's been good to cover. 1 point was the gap at the end of the season, by the way, for Ed Eisenring. And in case you weren't with us for that finale 1 week ago, it is available on archive on the JPB YouTube channel, as all the broadcasts are. There's about 3 years worth of racing there now, and so and that's enough to be getting on with. But if you want to go and have a look at a previous broadcast, then I'd certainly recommend that one. 1 week ago, we had Brandon Walker up as a driver's view of things as well, which is very helpful. So well and good us babbling on about racing, but we don't do very much driving these days. So it's good to have an actual driver who's actually a good driver in the commentary box as well. Yeah, it was a fantastic race either way, and lots of important decisions to make as far as tyres go and dealing with the weather. I haven't seen too much of the weather playing its role this season, but certainly came in at the right moment at the very end.
Yeah, it definitely did. I like the fact that you say we don't do much driving. Just sorry, Larry, when was the last time you drove on a simulator?
On a simulator? I was about to be cheeky and say I drove to the shops earlier. I have not. I can't remember. Not this year. Maybe not even the year before either.
Exactly. Mine was Mine was a couple of weeks ago for BSC driving into Martinsville, but that's only because I shot my mouth off to say that I was going to win. Mind you, I didn't. I finished 3 laps down. And that was it. Other than that, I can't remember the time before that I even drove, to be honest.
Might have been Martinsville on the MX-5s.
It possibly could have done, yes. See, that's why I was shooting my mouth off, you see, because obviously, you know, I was going to win that. I won that, and then I didn't quite go quite as well in the cup race with the BSC boys.
You won a race and then just retired because you're only as good as your last race.
Exactly.
And if you won your last race, then you can argue about that. Official iRacing Spec event race as well.
It was, yes. Very much for that.
Yeah.
It was. I'm very proud of that. However, the 4.5 hours in VR was not good.
Oh, God. Yeah, horrific. To be honest, 4.5 hours around there with so many cautions not in VR sounds quite horrific, to be honest with you. So, there you go. I wouldn't have even got through it, to be honest. Although I think it's coming up again this year, isn't it? Maybe it's worth a go.
Yeah, I'm going to defend my championship. I will say, being in VR, though, it did help me dodge a car that went up over the top of me.
That is one thing you don't get on single monitor gameplay.
No, I ducked, but it was quite impressive as I watched this car go over the top. It was awesome in VR. So I do recommend that. However, don't go and put a car over the top of you. So there we go. How he managed to get it over the top of me at Martinsville, I do not know, but he literally went over the top.
Well, exactly. Yeah, I'm by the way getting a new laptop, so I will be driving again soon. But you're right, I have not done very much driving at all recently. Anywhere, actually. I do have some more arcade-style games on the Xbox, I suppose. I just don't anyway. So never mind. I'll get back into it at some point. But I wouldn't be up to scratch with these guys, that's for sure. Nathan Dowd at the moment, leading the way by a few seconds. He's actually coming up to lap Dominic Zioli. And if it is a full reverse grid for race 3, as I'm presuming that it will be, I think Zioli's going to be quite hard to beat. Having said that, he started on the front row for this race, and look where he is now.
Yeah. No, I think for race number 3, we'll see how Zioli gets on. Whether or not he's just going to go and run away with it. He'll have Eisenring next to them. Both of them are still going, which is fair enough to them. Carter's still running as well. Then we got Kudrowski still going. Green's still there in that livery. I can't work out there's a couple of giraffes or not around that car. Got to be honest. And then Nick Davis and then Nathan Dowd. Can Zioli run away from all of them? That will be the question as we're going into race number 3 very, very shortly.
He's about to go 2 laps down, I think, isn't he? Yeah, he is. So, lane for just over 3 minutes, and then got back onto the circuit again. For whatever reason, he's running just in front of the leaders here. I wonder if he's going to make everybody watch him do another lap after everybody else finishes the second race of the day. We'll wait and see, but it doesn't look like we're going to have any further battles in this particular race. Nathan Dowd looks like he's got this one won. It'll be a second win of the evening for him. And if it was a more serious race and there were points on the line and everything, I think Zioli wouldn't be very happy about how the first race ended, actually, given the way that the contact happened and everything. But since it's a fun race, Dowd will get away with that and he'll take the first 2 wins of the evening. Yeah,
it's only a bit of fun, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's not life or death or anything like that. So, you know, I think he might not be. He'd be all right. Is he going to stop, though? That's going to be the question. So he let
the white flag.
Yeah, so he doesn't. Hopefully, he won't have to do another lap. Unless he goes after and starts battling Nathan Dowd, of course. Which, you know, why not? Go for it.
He wouldn't bet against that particularly. But no, Nathan Dowd should be able to take this win with quite a few seconds to spare. Davis and Green should be on the podium as well. There's 2 of the podium drivers from the last race fall by the wayside in this second race of the day. Nathan Dowd, the only Aston Martin, setting the fastest laps and continuing to stretch out that lead. 46.0 his fastest lap time so far, by the way. That's more than half a second quicker than anybody else. Carter Cunning just set a personal best, but that's still a second slower than the fastest lap of the race. I think as the evening's going on, Nathan Dowd's actually getting quicker as well, which is a scary thought for everybody else.
But then again, once you get used to the car and used to the circuit and where you got to brake, you are going to be moving in the right direction, isn't it, for Nathan Dowd? So it'll be an interesting fight if we can get... it's the only... Well, to be fair, he's not going to be miles ahead. So Nathan Dowd might have an opportunity to go and battle him.
Maybe if Dowd is this good in a GT car, he should have been in GT3 the all along.
Maybe.
He's pretty handy here. This is entirely different to what we've seen in race this season in the GTP. It's completely different in every way. So I'm not sure really what he's what he's doing in that class. But anyway, through the final corner, and he's going to take the second race of the evening in the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge All-Stars. The 3 GT4 races at Fuji may well be taken all 3 by Nathan Dowd. He's got 2/3 of the way there. He flashes the lights and takes another victory, another second put into Nicholas Davis, and his margin at the line will be at 5 seconds. That'll be very pleasing indeed for Nathan Dowd. He'll have to start at the back and do it all over again, like he just has in race number 2.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Okay. Did that.
His engine's not enjoyed it.
No.
Yeah.
There he
There
goes.
goes Kajarski over the line. I have a feeling he might be speeding into the wreckage as well, to be honest. And Carter Cunningham will do the same as well. And, oh no, slowed down. Carter Cunningham will complete the day with a 5th place finish, complete the race rather. And he and Zioli are going to be ones to watch in race 3 coming up very shortly as well, as they start towards the front for this final race of the day. Over the line for Carter Cunningham. And he will hope for a cleaner race next as well, because of course he hit his teammate in the last one. Nathan Dowd wins the second race then ahead of Nicholas Davis, with Dale Green just under 12 seconds back. Mark Kajowski and Carter Cunningham around at the top 5. Eisenring 1 lap down. Zioli 2 laps down in the end. Liv Peterson and Jason DeVries, as we know, are not racing tonight. So we think the field will be just reversed again. And it has in... Oh no.
Yep.
It's been put into another different order. What's this order then?
Well, we're in warm-up now.
Oh, we're in warm-up. That's why. Sorry.
Oh my God.
There's a bit of a break between the between the 2 races. I'm going to presume that it's reverse grid again. You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a full field reverse grid. But they haven't got long to get on the grid. They've only got a couple of minutes.
Well, yeah, it's just a warm-up session to give a break between. I don't understand these drivers wanting a break between races, to be honest. How sweaty do you get after 15 minutes? I mean, Jesus.
Again, you don't drive, Mr. O'Leary.
No, when I did, then I didn't get that sweaty after 15 minutes. Not unless I do remember having it once, though. To be fair, so I'll give them that. But that was on a particularly scorching day. I could probably tell you the exact date, actually, but although you won't want to know. It was an absolutely scorching day, and I had the window open next to me, and, well, let me put it to you this way. There were areas of my body that have never been so warm, before or since.
Mm-hmm. Yep, moving on. I don't really know what to say.
Anyway.
I don't really know what to say to that one, to be blatantly honest with you. I'm going to trust that it was your toes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be it.
I can never race barefoot, so, socks had to be on, and it's just unbearable. Anyway, the warm-up session draws to a close. Nobody went and left the circuit, so they really are just cooling down, and they'll be ready to go for race 3 in a few moments. The field will indeed be reversed. The top 2 won't actually race, but the rest of them will. And there is the grid. Pretty much a reversal of what we had before. Again, you'd imagine Dominic Zioli is the favourite, but I think he probably would have said that in the previous race as well, in race 2, but just wasn't able to stay out of trouble in the end. And sort of very bizarrely slowed down, came to a stop and let everybody through, and never really came back from that. So hopefully he'll race properly this time and go for the win.
Yeah, hopefully he will. I do want to question why Luke Crowley is in YouTube chat. It's not Ewan's fault, it's late, early. Yeah, I do understand that, but why are you awake at 3 in the morning?
He is often awake. It's not the first broadcast I've done recently when he's been chattering away, and I said the same thing, and he didn't give an answer, which is suspicious. So
Dominic got a slowdown and it wouldn't go away apparently.
Oh, wouldn't go away.
No, that's why I pulled off to the side and then into pit lane.
So finally, Irising was satisfied he'd served the slowdown after 3 minutes on pit lane, I suppose.
Yep.
A bit harsh. Hopefully Nathan Dowd is good at race here. He's not quite in the on the grid yet. I'm not sure how long he's got, whether it's just the normal 2 minutes that you get in our racing, or whether it's going to be a little bit more. But hopefully he does race. It'd be fun to see him come through the field again from 7th place, as it will be. But at the moment, it is... Oh, there he goes. He's onto the grid. Not sure why he was making everybody wait. He's having an extra long break by the looks of things. But we'll see if he can get through the field and win 3 out of 3 here tonight. And as I say, he'll be asking for GT4s every week if he can. Well, I think he'll be asking for them anyway, actually. The display he's put on tonight.
Maybe next season we might see a GT4 series.
Yeah? Well, I can't see it personally.
No, but I'm just saying. Luke said he's a night owl. So he's a bit like me and you, really, to be honest.
Yeah, but we only are because of work.
Yeah, I don't think if we had a choice, mate, I think we'd be in bed like normal people.
Possibly.
I think I would be.
I mean, yeah, if I was employed in a job that happens in the daytime, then yes, I would be sound asleep at the moment. But the fact that we've got a job that means we stay up until 4 in the morning regularly means that, yeah. To be fair, even on nights I'm not working, I'm up at this time, so I do get it. But
are you?
Surely, yeah.
Oh. See, I think for me this morning, I woke up at 6 a.m. and then I was like, right, I must take a quick nap before this one because otherwise I wouldn't have made this whatsoever. I nearly didn't. I slept through the alarm that went off. But listen, anyway, enough of my trials and tribulations of me waking up at my age at 2 in the morning to come and do a broadcast. We're going to get race number 3 underway.
Yeah, we will. I haven't got kids to worry about, so I can wake up at midday every day.
Oh, thanks, mate. We got to do that tomorrow anyway.
I know. But anyway, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. Up towards the line for the drivers then. For the final time in season 14, this will be the 3rd race of the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge All-Stars. And so it is time to go again. Goodness me, they're all close again. Hopefully that we avoid slowdown, we avoid contact, and we have a good final race to end season 14, because this will be the last race of the season. As the lights now go out, Zioli gets underway from the front and, pulls away pretty quickly, actually, over the rest of the field, who all but Kaza Kundinger pull into line. Now Nicholas Davies also pulls to the outside line. Dowd is looking inside. Kwiatkowski as well, oh my word. And Eisenring and Kundinger making contact for the second time this evening. Now Eisenring into the side of Kwiatkowski. Nathan Dowd already 2 places up, looking for a third. He's on the grass. Oh, no. Nathan Dowd very nearly causing a crash. He's going to get through maybe on Kwiatkowski, though, after having 2 wheels in the grass. Round the outside through turn 2. He has made it up to 4th place already.
Yeah, he's up. What's he up already? 5 places from the beginning? Well, 3 technically on the racetracks. 2 didn't make it. But, yeah, so he's absolutely flying, is Nathan Dowd, at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if he took the win in this one as well. I do like Luke's philosophy, right? It's pretty much my philosophy. He don't start work till 10. He rolls out of bed into the home office at 9:55. That's about right.
Yeah. That makes sense. It's a very strange time to start work, if you don't mind me saying.
Luke, what do you actually do? Just tell us what you do, son, because clearly we don't know. And Ewan's questioning the 10 a.m. start. You know what I mean?
I've never had a normal job.
No, clearly he doesn't work in fast food, right? Because unless he's chucking burgers out of his office, I don't know what he's doing.
Well, exactly. That's what I mean. It's not a weird time to start work if you have to go somewhere, but it is if you have to just be at home. So anyway, that's I think he's far too deeply about that, to be honest. Anyway, out of the final corner, Nathan Dowd's going to have a decent chance of getting onto one of these podium places again. Whether he can actually catch up to Zioli or Kundinger is going to be another question. Kwiatkowski and Green at banging wheels down the straight as well. And there was a bit of that going on the front straight first time round as well. Dale Green will be a bit disappointed he's still down in 7th, I think, after the opening lap, as he works his way down the outside now of the Cayman, which is chasing him over that side of the road, chasing him all over the road at the moment. Oh, and he just tucks in front of him there as well. Will he go down the inside, Dale Green? No. Kwiatkowski tries to block him off quite aggressively. Side by side they go, and they will still be. It's like Kwiatkowski has his sort of semi-aggressive defending has worked.
Yeah, he was all over the track, wasn't he? He was like blocking it well. I thought he was going to try and send him down the pit lane. That's what I actually thought he was going to do, because you can probably do that here at Fuji, and I thought that's what he was having a go at trying to do there. See if he could be the first one to send somebody down pit lane by mistake. But Dale Green was a bit privy to it. Nathan Dowd, however, is now coming up to the back of Davis. So Dowd making great progress there as well in the final race here once again, the 20-minute race this time around as well. He's a software developer by day, sim racer enjoyer by night. Apparently.
That sort of suggests that he develops sim racing games, but maybe it doesn't do that.
I don't know what do you do? What do you develop, Luke? You know, can you just write out your CV?
Get really specific now.
Yeah, can you just put your CV in YouTube chat for us? Your resume for the past 5 years, local bank account number as well. That'd be great, and any long card numbers that we need. Yeah, but yeah, don't forget the 3 numbers. We need them ones.
No, don't do that. Out of the final corner for the leaders. Dowd hasn't been able to find his way past on this lap, but he does have an extra 5 minutes, by the way, in this feature race to get there. He's got 20 minutes for the final race of the season, and so far that Aston Martin's going nowhere in the slipstream of that BMW. Have a look at that. It's quite tall. You'd think he'd be able to get a bit of slipstream out of it, but only now he's finally getting there, as they all catch up to Zioli on the straight as he's punching the big hole in the air for everybody. Is Dowd going to go late on the brakes on the inside, or is he going to back off? No, he won't go for it. Kwiatkowski and Green are still side by side again. Oh, there's this contact. Dear, oh dear, that was quite close. Normally when you're the car behind in that equation, you spin around, but not this time round. Kwiatkowski still holds off Dale Green in the background meanwhile. Yeah,
they're still running each other around across the side of the circuit. Green's going to try and go round, have the inside line for Coca-Cola, not this time. And then through turn 4, or 100R, as it's apparently known as Kwiatkowski's got off the side of the circuit. That should give Green an opportunity to go around the outside, and it does. Dale Green, so he can now go and chase him across the side of race of the circuit. That would be awesome to watch as well. But Davis still going, and he's still got Dowd tucked in right behind him at the moment in that Aston Martin. Apparently it's boring, Luke Crowley's life story, but his mother's maiden name is Smith.
And the name of your first pet?
What's your shoe size?
What's the other security questions that we might need to know?
Your first school.
Just trying to gather some information into the final sector for the leaders. Meanwhile, Nathan Dowd's taking a longer time than I thought he might to pass Nicholas Davis here. I've got to be honest, as he battles away for third. But as we saw from that onboard, the Aston Martin doesn't seem to be having a great straight line speed advantage over the BMW, especially when you're in the acceleration zone just out of the corner. I mean, he's only barely gaining here. Now, up at top end speed, it seems the Aston Martin does get at least a bit closer to the BMW, especially in the slipstream. Have a look at this as they get over the straight. You can see the gap tumbling a little bit quicker now, but in the acceleration zone, it's just not as powerful. Surely he's going to go for it now, though. Later on the brakes, inside line, and I said he's got 5 extra minutes, but that time is going to run out pretty quickly. He has got up to third place now, though, at the expense of Nicholas Davis in the BMW. Yeah,
it does take him a while to set you up here. You know what I mean? You are right. Like, especially if there's certain draft-fested cars like Radicals or open wheelers, it does take a while to get the move done and set up because everybody's kind of following a leader normally. You know, this is a little bit more spread out. I'll be interested to see if Dowd can break away from Davis and get up to the back of Cunningham here, who doesn't look overly comfortable in a GT4, I'm not going to lie.
Not maybe compared to what he's been racing all season long. As they go down on the brakes for turn 10. Is Dowd going to have any more, any quicker of a pass here on one of the Mercedes? Surely Cunningham's going to fight this one pretty hard, because Davis didn't really even pull into a defensive position at any point. A little bit wide over the curves there, but got away with it. These GT4s are quite nice to run over those stupendous curves on the exits of these corners that well, I don't know what they're there for, but anyway, they should be gotten rid of. Out of the final corner they go, and over them again. And surely Dowdy's going to have a chance in towards turn number 1 at the expense of Koch Cunningham here. Just less than 3/10 behind. That's exactly the reason he needs to be with Dominic Zioli earlier on, although that was in race number 1. Will he be able to fire down the inside? He was a bit far back, really, but now he's starting to gain again. At the top end, it seems the Aston Martin is pretty good. And now he's going to... No, he was going to have a look, but no chance.
Next lap. Next lap, he's using a lap to get near them and then a lap to overtake them. Obviously, with Dominic Zioli, it's going to be a bit more difficult. He's got 2 seconds to make up the road. But I think for Nathan Dowdy, he is kind of using 1 to catch, 1 to pass. And I wouldn't be surprised if he had a go at Cunningham going down into turn 1 next time, to be blatantly honest with you. Because I think that's how he's got to kind of work this track as well. And every race that I've been... Ooh. Maybe not. All right, break the rule. There you go. Every time I've been here with that race, with this circuit, it doesn't matter what car, and that seems to be the precedent that's been set.
Let's have a look down in towards turn 10, whether there's going to be a move here. No, it would have been a lunge, but he's been doing them before. He did them with Zioli earlier in race 1, but not this time. It's right in behind the Mercedes now through the final sector. This is where he was getting aggressive with Zioli on the last lap of race 1, and they had that very close finish over the line. Not doing the same here this time through the penultimate corner. Didn't get anywhere there. Now we'll have another look to the inside. No chance there either as they pull through the final corner. Cunningham's going for a very strange final corner line, but it seems to work, really.
Yeah, you can take 2 through there. You can even take it like a diamond line where you push it in wide and bring it back to the apex, where most people run it in quite tight. So yeah, if it works, it works. But I think he could be in trouble here for Carr if that Aston Martin can just get a little bit further up. As you say, it's normally now he starts kicking in, but again, not close enough. He lost a little bit of time throughout that lap.
And the longer this goes on as well, the more that Dominic Zioli gets away from the 3 of them. 3 seconds now, the gap, and he starts to look at how many laps are going to be left in this race. Probably 6 to go at the line. Maybe 7, but even so, that's, or even 6 laps to go, or even 7, that's about 4 tenths a lap that he's going to need. That's pretty difficult to get over Dominic Zioli, who has so far got the fastest lap of this race. Not even Nathan Dowd's been able to go quicker than him, although he hasn't had a clear lap to himself yet either. Out of the left-hander down there at turn 6, and surely Dowdy's going to have a go down here at turn 10 because he's starting to lose a lot of time now. If he's actually wanting to win this race, he's going to have to make the move soon, but not this time again in towards the final sector.
No, he's got to try and stay with him. He's trying to take different line through turn 10 and 11. See him bump a lot of the curb in there. Now what's he going to do going in through turn 13? Again, going to try and look at trying to make a different line for 14. That's what he did do. Has got the option though, if Carter does run that wide line, Dow might be able to nip up the inside, or is he going to follow him on that line? He has kind of followed him on the line. We'll have to wait another lap.
Well, is he going to be happy to sit there and wait again, or is he going to come through on the inside this time? Cunningham maybe feels like he's under a bit more pressure this time because he's weaving around. Will that be a chance then for Nathan Dowd to have a go on the inside line here then? As we saw earlier when Zioli was weaving around, that it lost him a lot of time, although as we found out that was for a slowdown. In towards the turn 1, Dowd is going to be on the inside line, but Cunningham could see it coming, so he adjusted his braking point as well. He took it round the outside quite well, and they remain side by side out the corner.
Yeah, this is normally a GTP versus LMP2, isn't it? This is what we're normally seeing them in. But Dowd does look very comfortable in the Aston Martin. Cars, blimey, squeezed him well and truly there, and unfortunately put him off the circuit. Dowd's still going to have the inside line. He's going to be unfortunately on the outside for turn number 6 though. So they're going to have to run side by side for a little bit longer until this one gets resolved, I think.
Is Davis going to make it 3 wide maybe? He turned underneath them both here and he's got alongside them both as well. Oh, not quite. He's just going to look for another way through here. Cunningham's going to jump immediately back in behind Dowd and surely go back to his inside. No, Dowd's not going to let him do that. They're both weaving in the braking zone. Oh, my word. Dowd is going to hold on to second, but the gap has ballooned to Zioli now as a result of that battle, as you would expect it to as well. But goodness me, they were very nearly 3 wide there. When Davis turned underneath them at turn 7, he very nearly got past them both.
Yeah, and that would have been a great move if he had as well. They were too busy concentrating on themselves without seeing Nick Davis coming in and just going, thanks very much, I'll have that. 2 for 1, isn't it? And away he goes, but unfortunately it didn't happen, and I am a little bit worried that whether or not Nick's going to be able to stay with them. And we'll keep an eye on that gap to Dominic Zioli from Dowd, but I don't know if it's going to be enough.
He's going to have 5 laps to go, so he needs 8 tenths a lap, which feels like a lot, really. I know that he was about a second quicker than everybody else with his fastest lap last time round, Dowd, but he needs to do that again, basically another 5 times, if he wants to have a chance of taking the clean sweep tonight. Joe Green has finally got past Mark Kwiatkowski now. He's flashing his lights at him. But it looks like that battle for 6th place is finally resolved in Joe Green's favour, as you would expect it to be, really, because I think he finished on the podium in the last race, Joe Green.
Yeah, definitely did. Trying to find where they were fighting it out here, because that was where they were chasing each other across the race circuit, weren't they? Oh, there you go.
They were. Well, there they both are. Oh, after all that, Kwiatkowski sort of gave it to him, really.
Gave it up and just was like, I've made a mistake. There you go. So they're going to carry on, I'm sure. Yeah, and we'll continue to fight. We'll keep an eye on that gap further back. Unfortunately, Fred Isering, he's driving around all on his own in that no man's land. He's got about 6.5 seconds up in front, 4.5 seconds behind, and he's just tootling about on his own.
Yeah, he's been driving on his own a lot tonight, unfortunately. A couple of crashes in the first 2 races meant that he was driving on his own, and now he's in the race. He's in the top 5, but he's not in a battle, which is a bit disappointing for him. So he'll just have to run around, and I don't think Dale Green's going to catch him, so just have to hope he can hold on to 5th place as we cross 6 minutes to go now. I think Cunningham versus Davis is going to be our primary entertainment for the remainder of this one, because they are still running nose to tail for this 3rd place. Nathan Dowd is out front, and that much is settled. But for the moment, Carter Cunningham versus Nicholas Davis is going to be on. There you go. Last time round, only a 10th gained by Dowd, who did a 46.7. That's not even his fastest lap of the race so far. So he needs to gain by way more than that, and he's not going to get there unless Dominic Zioli makes a mistake.
Yeah. And I don't think he will, to be blatantly honest with you. I think the gap's likely to come down in behind Cunningham, bringing the gap back down below a second and bringing Davis with him, because I think that's probably likely to be happening. But if these two would give us a good old little battle, and we have still got Kwiatkowski and Green. Let's not forget, they might be at the back, but they are still having their own little ding-dong further back here. And that gap's been teetering in and around half a second throughout the whole race, so I'm sure these guys aren't quite finished either.
Maybe not. I think Green does have a little bit of extra speed, and so he might well just have the edge here. But it's one of the great things about this event, actually, that prior to this this season, if you like, or this race, I should say, we have not yet seen some of these drivers racing against each other. You mentioned it a little bit earlier, but Zioli, Dowd, Cunningham and Davis are in 3 different classes, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Zioli and Davis are in the same class. That they were GTDs this season, but Cunningham was an MP2 and Dowd was a GTP. And we're not seeing some of these guys racing each other. We're seeing them race for the first time this season here, and that's the great thing about sort of putting everybody in the same class together.
Yeah, and I don't think there are enough leagues that do sort of all-star races or something like that, because sometimes they're just not popular to happen, and yeah, we're not up the echelons of high numbers here, don't get me wrong, and this is, but putting a multi-class all in one car and saying, right, come on then boys, off you go, that for me would be quite exciting. But a lot of, as you can see here, a lot of people just don't like getting themselves involved in something like that.
I think that some of the problem is that some bit, as Kwiatkowski's got to slow down, perhaps at turn 1. I think some of the problem might be that people just don't own GT4 cars, which is entirely possible because we don't race them this season, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of them don't own it.
Oh yeah, that's also a possibility. That battle's over and done with as well. No, you might, as you say, you might be right, and people aren't going to go out and buy a car, but I don't know, would you for a bit of fun?
Yeah, I probably would, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Hell, I've got loads of cars and I don't drive any of them.
I know, it's different broadcasting, I suppose. You've sort of got to own almost the whole of iRacing.
Near enough, mate.
They should do a deal to like buy everything for a slightly reduced price, all in one go, in case of going through everything all at once, one by one.
Yeah, well, they should just let us have like a commercial package or something. I don't know. Where you get all the content, but you pay them, I don't know, something 20,
some sort of monthly fee or something. Yeah, would work. But anyway, there we go. There's our philosophical thoughts about the way the business should be run.
Hey, we know everything. I'd like to point out that Luke's now come back again. He obviously avoided the question of, giving him your first school and past the jobs or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if he answers too many questions, it starts to become a security concern.
Well, yeah, this is also true. Especially if tomorrow or whenever he comes back to us and goes, boys, I've been hacked. What have you done? See Ewan. I'll chuck you under the bus.
I don't have the technological capability, so he's
hey, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Safe with me.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start, to be blatantly honest. So there you go. No, but he does say GT5s drive GT5s. GT4s drive quite nicely. Good for a bit of easy fun racing. Oh, don't even go there. Yes, I said GT.
Yeah, I think so. As I said earlier, I think these cars are really easy to sort of get a hand on and drive without too many problems straight away. Although Ed Eisenring might say something different from what we've seen tonight. I think the Cayman probably is the hardest by the looks of things. Although I've never driven it, I think it does look the hardest from the outside to get to grips with initially. But it's one of those cars that easy to drive but hard to master, if you like. And I think that's the beauty of GT4 racing. It's sort of a category like this. All categories like this should be run that way. Same should be for GT3s as well, and GT4s. That's what these cars are made for. They're made for people who are not normal racers to actually drive normally, but to get those last few temps out, you've got to be a very good driver indeed and do the practice as we've seen here today.
Definitely, as we come on to the final lap of race number 3. As these guys all running very line astern at the moment. Them all in line 2, 4, 6 with Browski. Where are you? A little bit further back. Couldn't get them all on the straight at the centre.
He's just gone off. That's right. He's just gone off at the final sector here. He was running line of stern with everybody else, but looks like he's had problems at the very end as the inside curb. And he's just stopped. For some reason. Don't know what that is all about, to be honest.
No, but he's still...
Oh no, he's going again.
I don't know. Can't answer that question.
He's off very wide all over again, but he's not going to be caught by Nathan Dowd either way. There has been a point system, by the way, keeping up with these guys and what they've been doing here in the Autobahn All-Star races tonight. But it won't surprise you to know that Nathan Dowd has a pretty unassailable lead over the rest, including Zomazioli, who's actually only having his first result inside the top 5 here. If you remember from race 1, he had that penalty that dropped him down to 6th. In race 2, he had an immovable slowdown, which dropped him to 7th place. So he's going to sign off with a win in the last ever race in season 14 of the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge. However, he's not going to win the All-Star race overall, as it were, through the final corner. And Dominic Zioli will be very pleased by the looks of it, as he completes the 12th and final lap of the All-Star Race 3 to win here at Fuji in the Mercedes. A good job from him there, although he did start up towards the front. He's executed very well. And he held off Nathan Dowd as well, who caught him a little bit, but actually Zioli held his own pretty well there and kept the gap at 3 seconds.
And Carter's doing that.
Crash.
Into... Oh!
Oh, no! That's a bad accident.
Good job, Rover.
We're going to get
here
someone
he
else
comes.
piling in here.
Oh,
Oh, no.
He dives through the middle, which I was quite surprised about.
Yeah.
Not very often
yeah,
you don't
Green's
get
not gonna
free
join
reign to go and smack the boss. You know what I mean? Surprised that didn't
That is
just
true.
go straight in the cut of Cunningham there. That would have been quite amusing.
It's a good way to get banned from next season. So maybe a good idea not to do that.
Carter's not that soft.
We have a look at the race results from race number 3. It's Dominic Zioli who takes the race victory here in the GT4 race 3 ahead of Nathan Dowd. Carter Cunningham joined them on the podium. Nicholas Davis, Ned Eisenring round up the top 5 with Dale Green on the lead lap as well. Mark Kondrowski retired on the last lap, as we saw Jason DeVries and Leif Peterson practice, but unfortunately didn't race here tonight, unfortunately, on this final night of racing. I think it was a good format to have, actually, an all-star race at the end of the season. As I mentioned, we've seen some drivers tonight racing at one another that we haven't seen all season long, really. It's going to be Nathan Dowd who takes the overall with 75 points to his name out of a possible 78. That's a pretty good total to finish the night with, and he's going to win the All-Star race ahead of Nicholas Davis, who's going to be second, and Carter Cunningham, who is going to finish third in this All-Star race at the end as well. As I say, good thing to do to sign off season 14.
Yeah, definitely, and we've got Carter sitting there in the waiting room for you to have a chat with. Good evening, sir.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening. Good to see you out there for the final All-Star race of the season. How did you find the GT4s, first of all? We'll talk about the racing before everything else. How did you find the GT4s and that Mercedes tonight?
I definitely missed my downforce, let's put it that way. So it was different, but it was honestly fun. I think GT4 racing usually produces some of the best just door-to-door racing on iRacing. So overall, it was a really good time. And, it was nice to go out there and, race with the guys you don't normally race with in class throughout the season, right? So, Nathan Dowd was definitely, he definitely had the pace tonight. Even Dominic Zioli had good pace tonight as well, just ran into some issues. And then also, even with the inverts too, that's the reason I did the inverts is so then you can go and race with some of the AM guys too, and it was a good race overall tonight. So was happy with 2 of the races. One of them just kind of got caught up in an incident, but all good.
Yeah, absolutely. We surprised by anybody's speed, by the way. You said you missed the downforce, but Nathan Dowd normally has even more downforce than you, but he didn't seem to miss it tonight at all.
No, yeah, Nathan did really good tonight. I was a little surprised, but I also wasn't, just because I know I've seen him do I've seen him do GT4 races before in iRacing. And let's see. I know Dominic Zioli would be pretty quick. He's kind of the one that I've been doing a little bit of GT4 racing here or there, and he's kind of gotten me into the Mercedes. Nick Davis, I know, basically just showed up a couple minutes before quali. Was like, which car should I pick? And I was like, well, I've got every car except the Beamer. He's like, perfect. So I'm signing up in the Beamer. And then Ed had some good pace too, although he kind of found some issues in the first 2 races or so. He had some pretty decent pace, and we had some good side-by-side there that 3rd race. So,
which making us wonder why Nathan Dowd's not been driving a GT all season, to be honest, if he can do that kind of thing in a GT4. But there we go. Maybe it doesn't translate to GT3 quite as well as I'm imagining. But I don't know. Anyway, let's have a chat about the league as a whole this season. How has it been behind the scenes? Talking obviously more about the regular season and whatever. We talked a little bit about it last week, but how has it been behind the scenes running the Autobahn Sportscar Challenge this season?
Yeah, no, it's been really good. Numbers were steady. So, and like I said last week, we went to a lot of great tracks and had a bunch of great racing. Whether that was between the 3 classes or, even in the class itself. So it's, overall, I was really happy with how the season went. I think, for what we had, we put on quite a good show. I watched basically every single broadcast. I haven't watched Road Atlanta yet, and I don't know if I want to go back and watch it, and I'll just remember how terrible of a race that was for me. But No, yeah, the
exciting.
racing was great. The broadcasting was great. Yeah, I keep it exciting. That's kind of what I try to do. I sealed the deal with the LMP2 championship going into round 13, and then it was just kind of I'm out there for fun, and I was like, let's make it interesting. Let's do something I don't normally do and spin 4 times. So, yeah.
Better save them to the end, don't they? But it was an exciting race anyway. So your incidents aside, so there you go. It's worth a watch, I would say. But there you go. And of course, it's been a pleasure to broadcast the races all season long as well. It's been a very fun season. Is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, I'll give a shout out to all the people at Composite Performance, our sponsors, P1 Doc, Grid, SimLab, and TAM Liveries for our wonderful liveries. I need to give a shout out to the competition committee for Autobahn. It's literally just 6 people who race in the series, and I ask them to look at instants every week. So they put in good effort throughout the season. All of the 55 different people that showed up throughout the season, I have to thank them for, coming out and supporting the league, and, whether they did all 14 races or they did just one, it really was nice to see everyone out there. I hope everyone comes back, and I hope anyone who's, watching the broadcast as well is interested. If you are, just, find me, give me a DM on Discord, whatever. We take a break this summer just because I know I myself is busy with racing stuff, but it's busy season for a bunch of people, and probably right around late summer, if not early fall, we kind of start thinking about the next season here. So stay tuned for more. We'll be back in a couple months.
Absolutely. Just to give some reference on that, this season's pre-season started in early September, so that's when you can expect to see Autobahn Sports Car Challenge racing back again. Thanks very much for coming to have a chat with us at the end of the season. Thanks for providing some of the entertainment tonight out there on the circuit, and we'll see you in season 15.
Yeah, thanks, Ewan. Thanks, James.
No worries, man.
Thanks very much. George Cunningham there chatting to us at the end of tonight's Autobahn Sports Car Challenge All-Star Race. Big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in tonight and indeed throughout the season as well. It's been a pleasure to bring you 14 great rounds of racing in the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge this season. And as Carter just said, we'll be back again in September for next season. To give you some reference, as I say, 9th of September was the first pre-season race this time around, so no racing throughout the summer months, as he said, but towards the latter end of that, we will be back again. I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside James Parfitt. Until we see you in season 15 of the Autobahn Sports Car Challenge, it's goodbye for now.